All right, you're asking for it, so here it is.
Epicast.
Listen to this.
I want you fucking laughing at we partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. You sweating?
Welcome to the 249th episode of the Drinking Partners Podcast. Yes, this is our Bobby Mitchell episode because he was an offensive stud and Pro Bowler for the Cleveland Browns in the pre-Super Bowl era when they were still actually winning championships, whenever that was. And Ed wanted to make sure that Cleveland was in the building if he wasn't. I'm your special guest host. I know he asserted himself. I love it. Derek Minto, joined by the ever-present co-host, Dave Bracey. So, what up to the people?
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Lipson, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners.
This is the greatest endorsement to a hamburger I've ever heard in my entire life.
You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Lipson at PartnerSpot. I'm fucking chili, man. You know, chili burger of this motherfucker.
I'm so jealous of you right now. I already ate my hamburger.
It's fucking delicious. What is it? What do we say? 249 episodes, man.
Yep.
We've been asking y'all, and we will continue to ask you, man. Please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well, and that's how we continue to do well. So please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review. I'm like I'm about to review this motherfucking burger. This shit is juicy. It's like 2 thumbs up, 5 stars. I would recommend. You know what I mean? Like,
Me too, man.
I most assuredly would recommend. But you know, if say for some reason, you can't, I don't know, click a button and say, like, I like it, I don't like it, thumbs up, thumbs down. You can always, in lieu of ratings and reviews, we do take shots of Henny. So, if you see us out and about, make sure you got a Henny in hand. But, don't come up to me and be like, oh, man, I should have had some Henny. And I'm like, well, did you leave a review? And they're like, no. Well, I mean, they know you're failing twice. Like,
At least do one of the two.
One of the two, And I mean, like, I feel like if at this point we should start saying, in lieu of Henny, we do accept rates and reviews on iTunes. I believe we've gotten way more shots of Henny than we do reviews on the podcast at this point. So, look. Shout out to Derek for being here.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, man!
This Sunday.
You know what I just had a weird flashback to, other than the weird ASMR thing that just happened over the beginning of the intro, where you were pounding a hamburger, which I totally get because I just did the same thing. But dude, this is totally we've known each other for quite a while. And do you remember that when the old Pittsburgh Comedy Festival, one of the raffle prizes that we gave away was Dave Bracey recording the voicemail on your phone?
Yeah.
And we scrambled to come up with this prize. And out of all the people that won this particular prize, it was my stepfather. So for years, when I would call my stepfather, all of a sudden he'd be like, hi, this is Dave Bracey on Stuart Marks's phone. And you had this beautiful voice. And when Stuart's probably not picking up the phone because he's having sex with his lady or other ladies. I don't know. But anyway, leave that shit at the beep. Beep. And it was but I would hear your voice all the time. It was so surreal.
I'm so appreciative of the opportunity to be on that voicemail. When I got one, when I put that voicemail down, I was like, this is it. Sky's the limit. I've made it. I mean, how often do you get to be like the voice? The guy. No, I appreciate it.
It reminded me of another thing. When we did that tour, the Gentleman Callers tour, way back in the day.
We slept together.
Yeah, we slept. Other than that, but the thing that was funny is this is the thing. There was no good streaming then, so everyone had to download music onto their phone, right? We're driving all through the country, we got terrible reception, and we didn't want to blow a bunch of minutes because that was important back then.
We used to care about time.
Yeah. All that crap. But the thing that was super funny is we were on your phone listening to whatever. And then we all at least got one embarrassing thing to come off our phone out of the audio. And Chris's was his original stand-up, which was awful. But yours was super funny because it was your voice demos.
Yeah.
It was you were like, well, I can't even remember what they were for, but it was out of nowhere. We're listening to music and it's all of a sudden, it's like, do you need auto insurance?
Yeah. That was back when I used to think but people got paid to do like voiceover work, which I later turned out that it's not a thing.
It's not that lucrative.
Yeah, I mean, like if everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that does like voiceover work, but nobody knows a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like the unicorn. Then I'm sorry, I'm very distracted by this goddamn burger and this.
I know,
like
dude.
Fucking, like chili and cheese and got some fucking mustard cheese in it.
Oh, like a stone ground mustard?
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty so. We gotta get into this podcast. This is 2 of 2.
Dude, we should probably talk to people about where this mystery burger came from.
We should mention it at some point on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the man that's on the couch here could maybe fill us in on the whereabouts of the chef who made this. So welcome back to the cast. It's a little different. It's a little whiter this time. I don't know if you noticed that this time around, but just as hilarious and hungry. So thank you for bringing this with a 2 of 2. Neil Glausier. Is that French enough?
Pretty close, man.
Neil Glausier.
Glausier.
I was brought up in Mississippi. We don't church it up too much. But I'm happy when it comes out somewhere close. But that's pretty damn good, man.
Welcome back to the cast. I mean, 2 of 2. Second time around. So where did these burgers come from?
They came from Burgh'ers Brewing in Lawrenceville. But the madman chef behind that's Fury Mullets, and that's his offering to our duopoly that we have going on between burgers and beer. So I run the brewing side of the house, and he's the chef and creator of the Burgh'ers concept. And I came along a few years ago to bring beer, and now we're a partnership restaurant and brewery, and we're chugging out the beer, making the burgers, loving the food and beer scene around Pittsburgh, and here we are to talk about it.
So
I'm going to go ahead and mute between Dave's words so none of us have to listen to him eat an entire burger.
We got the intro last time. And thus far, we've had a whole year. A couple of festivals, you know what I mean? Shout out to Fresh Fest. And it's, those are two of my favorite collabs year in, year out. Mars Jackson, PK Delay. I mean, the videos, the music, I mean, the promo, I mean, the beer. I mean, it was all definitely one of my faves, so appreciate that. Shout outs.
All right, we'll go back to normal.
But yeah, what's different? Like, how have you grown, in your profession?
I think we're now kind of catching our stride, figuring out the just the quality, quantity, and direction of growth that we're taking as a business. We're looking to expand, build a larger production size facility that we can have another restaurant ultimately, and then produce enough beer for the 3 restaurants, which would be in operation at that time, and then try to get a few cans out into the market a little bit, and a little bit of distro, a little bit of local sales. But really just figuring out what we're doing and how to do it well has been we're in our 3rd year now as a brewery / restaurant. And I think we're in our stride. We're selling a lot of beer. I think I'm making better beer than I was last year. Consistency, quality, the little things is what we're able to focus on now and really pick up the quality end of the stick and start applying that to every aspect. We're super passionate people about quality and ethics, and we've got those pillars to maintain daily. So quality is maintaining. We're picking up our ethic ends of the thing too. We've just this year we started having 100% funded, employer-funded insurance for our full-time employees, which we have we're right at 50 employees now. And as of yesterday, we have between 22 and 24 that are full-time that are eligible for our insurance package, which is UPMC Panther nice. Gold, really good insurance. And I think we have 13 total on that insurance plan now. So we're providing excellent wages, benefits. You get a week off and 3 days paid sick time after your first year. And after your 6 months, you're eligible for that insurance package that we just brought to the table. And we think that's huge, being able to take care of people voluntarily and make sure that we provide a ethical working place for them to be. Nobody in our house makes full-time unless you're training, and that only takes 4 days. But that gives us just enough time to figure it out. And then after that, it's big boy money for the big boy responsibilities we want you to have in what is seen as not often a big boy job. The service industry gets shit on a lot in that respect, and we're wanting to bring a little bit of dignity into that field and take care of our people in a way that brings their opinion of themselves and the opinion of the work, and hopefully it drives our quality forward.
Dude, like when you first said ethics, like when you were talking about beer, I was like, what does that mean? Like not giving beer to like bad human beings? Like, oh, you're clearly a racist. No, like I didn't know what you meant, and I'm really glad you explained like what you meant by that. Like that's great. Like but at first I had no idea what the hell you meant by that. Like that's really interesting. I mean, that's really like having like a great purpose like with your business. Like not only like. I've worked in the service industry a bit. Like my stepfather, he's been a caterer for years. Like
you're still in the service industry.
I still am in the service industry. Like I run a comedy club, like kind of. But like having those thoughts in mind are like really hard. You have to be like, you have in a good place. You have to be running a business right in order to be able to do that stuff. Otherwise, a lot of times employees are the first people who take the brunt of all the bad shit in your business. So I think that's awesome.
Thanks. And it's been our mission all along. It's just you've got to have the infrastructure in place. You've got to have the foundation ready to go before you can do that. Fiore and I aren't trying to make $1 billion right now. We're trying to take care of people and do what we want to do. We have passion for this thing. So the ultimate result is, the long game and how far can we take it? But right now it's taking care of people so we can get there, because without a staff that gives a fuck, our product suffers. And so making somebody give a fuck about your profit or your product equals profit, and eventually we'll make money. But at the same time, we're developing people's skills. We're developing their sense of craft and like what they want to do. And not everybody wants to be a burger chef their whole life, but having that work ethic and the ability to go to work and feel good about the thing you're doing enough to do it well, I think translates into having a superior product every single time.
Like I love that you said the word burger chef. Like there was a really great interview with like Wolfgang Puck. But I know I'm dropping Wolfgang Puck. But this is the thing he said that was really interesting. He says definitely the status of like cooks and the people who are in the service, it has changed a little bit in that like 20 or 30 years ago, if someone heard you were a cook, they're just like, ugh. Like, but now I feel like especially burgers like have like that culture like around what that food was and what it is now has definitely changed and elevated in a lot of different ways. Like everywhere has fancy burger places now, and I don't mean just fancy, but like some of the really really well made food that like you can be like you go there and eat, you don't feel like you're having like a crappy meal, like you're having something that's like really well sourced and well put together, and you have a great experience going there. Like I just think it's great. Like I love hamburgers. They're so good.
They're delicious.
I don't know if you guys like hamburgers. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I really like hamburgers.
Yeah.
They're like my third favorite food.
Yeah, and I think you guys do a good job at like seasoning the meat and like getting it all in. I mean, there's some burgers that are out there that are just like they're just it's like it's not a fancy it's a good patty like quality wise. But what is you doing with this flavor, bruh? You know what I mean? Like what is what's this patty actually like? You know what I mean? Without all the fancy toppings and shit. I don't want to and like you do a good job of I don't know what the fuck you doing in there with them. Yeah, means, but the seasoning is good.
So we are a farm to table, locally sourced, ethically sourced, quality, and that comes from the meat is just Hilltop Jubilee, and it's to our
Hilltop Jubilee.
Or
That
Jubilee
sounds like
Hilltop.
Sounds like a happy cows.
Yeah, it's out near Somerset. Very happy cows. Grass.
They
patting
got
them.
music
They have a little
playing.
maypole. They all
Take 'em
dance
out for
around and
walks.
practice satanic rites at night.
Yeah, they've all got like little collars with their names on it and shit.
That's
But,
cool.
Yeah,
Mark
they're
of the
super
beast,
happy. But Fiore has a particular grind he wants, a particular fat content he wants, a particular age that he wants, and pretty much like the elasticity of the meat, the bite of the meat is all designed from his criteria that he sends them, and they deliver it. And we order over a ton of meat a week between our two stores. So we kind of get what we want because we have that economy of scale type of presence where they'll listen to him and they'll deliver what he wants. And so we get the highest quality meat we can. And so it starts The foundation of everything is quality. His passion for quality starts there. And so the meat it's only seasoned with salt and pepper. That's all you need, man.
No, I mean, I feel
And
like
then-
a lot of motherfuckers don't even take that step. And it's like, oh, well, we're just going to go ahead and just rely on these toppings here to carry us through.
I mean, you can baffle anybody with bullshit. And, but if it ain't quality, you're going to find out real quick if you're chewing on sinew and bits of bone and eyeball or something. But
Wrestle.
Is eyeball good though?
I don't know. I think somewhere somebody
I generally
eats it for
avoid the
sure.
organ meats.
I mean, it's just, it's the texture. I like face meat. I'm a face meat dude.
Cheek meat, for sure.
Yeah, definitely some of that. But
And the toppings are just another extension of Fiore's creativity. He's been doing the neighborhood-based burgers for 10 years now, and each one takes a characteristic of the neighborhood. Like you had the Polish Hill. It's got a pierogi on it, of course. It's pretty cliche, but
I mean, it was nice and
Oh,
fried.
dude, you were
It was
pounding that
fucking-
jailhouse,
it's
man.
just-
That looks
it's
so
insane.
good. I was super jealous you grabbed it.
Yeah, it was.
I resented you for it. I'm not gonna lie.
It's pretty.
But
it's
that
pretty
Liberty I
ridiculous.
had was also fantastic too.
and that's
What
your
was that?
basic.
That's like the-
backyard burger.
But
man.
that's the thing that was great about it. It was just every part of it. Like it was the potato bun, right?
all the
Ooh,
I
minis.
yeah.
love. See, that's the
Potato
thing. I
bun?
love potato bun. Like it's so
yeah.
good. It works really well. You don't need something fucking crazy and fancy. It just needs to work with everything else. And it was just all the elements of it. It's like I liked that there wasn't ketchup on it. Like there was like a secret sauce, and there was like definitely I feel like mayo. I don't know if there's mayo. I might be imagining it. Maybe it was just secret
Fancy sauce.
fancy sauce. That's what
Just
it
kidding.
was. But like it was just
it's our special sauce.
like, and this is the thing. Like you even look at like it like did look a little traditional. Like it had like greens on it, but they worked perfectly. Like they weren't like it wasn't like someone overloaded it. It was just balanced like just right, and like every bite you got everything in it.
Yeah, it was a very.
It
yeah,
all
it was,
worked together.
I like a well placed.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I don't.
you
I don't want something where I have to like unhinge my jaw and become Snake Man and be like,
Yeah,
it gets all over my shirt,
Yeah,
and then
or
like
all the pickles are on this side, and you got this mustard all over here, and it's like it's a nice,
Yeah.
it's a nice placement there. You got to think of each bite matters.
meat to bread to topping proportions
proportion, yes.
are very, very, very well attended to in the menu, in the execution. Those are what's part of the thoughtful design of the burger menu. So you get that perfect bite every single time because we want the absolute consistency of the burger throughout your experience. And it should be that way, and you shouldn't have 4 pickles in one bite and then like all mustard in the next.
Yeah.
That's McDonald's bullshit.
It is.
the garbage.
Yeah,
man.
we ain't got a second window
Yeah.
for you to pull around through, man.
So tell us about this beer that's accompanying
yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah.
I
So
feel
this
like
is-
you might know something about that.
I know
This is. I
little.
can see you through this.
yeah, right.
Can see the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my just basic yellow beer. This is a American light lager. It's made with some German ingredients, so it has a little bit more flavor to it. The yeast is German, and I use a German Pils in it. So it's think Miller Bud Coors or whatever yellow beer you drank in college, icy light, some
Like,
bullshit
I
like
really
that.
don't feel like that's a fair comparison to considering this actually tastes like something.
Yeah.
Like I don't. I really think that like shits on it a little bit. Like it's way better than any of that.
Oh, let's
crap.
say
Like,
that in aesthetics only. It is reminiscent of all those things, but it has flavor. It has like very high quality ingredients in it, and it delivers. And so what you have with the Liberty Burger, that's my favorite accompaniment. Is this is an 1890 lager, just basic yellow thoughtless beer, and a delicious backyard style burger. And it you can drink this all day, and it still has enough flavor to keep you your attention.
I'm not
But
even bored by it like all, and I could drink as much of it as I wanted to.
Yeah.
I can totally operate heavy machinery on this.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So like, I mean, but like from my understanding, it's hard to hide the imperfections in a beer like that. So while it is, you say that, it was just like a thoughtless beer, but isn't it kind of like tough to do it well and balanced and drinkable where like, another brewer come in? Cause I mean, they're kind of maybe judging you a little bit on that, maybe a little.
I like making clear beer.
Yeah.
Clear beer doesn't give you anywhere to hide. There's no corners in it where you can throw hops at it, dry hop it, or throw some sugar, brownies, or some shit in it. Like this is your opportunity to display the workmanship of your everything from recipe to your process. And yeah, clear beer is something I like to pride myself on being able to make and do well and make a clean beer that is noticeably well made. And I take a lot of pride in that. And yeah, this basic bitch light beer, I think says a lot about the attention to detail that we're putting into the amount of analytics and quality control and just attention that we're putting into our process.
So what is involved with the quality control? Like, what are you looking at? Like when you're trying to keep, you know what I mean? Like what is the consistency that you're looking for? Like, I mean, what are some of the hurdles that you have to overcome in that?
So we do everything from a base water of reverse osmosis water, has no minerality, no mineral content in it. 9 parts per million of anything is what my RO machine gets me
Dry
to.
as shit.
It's just no minerals. So you don't have any calcium. You don't have any sulfate. There's no flavor components in there. We add it. And so we design the water around the beer. Then we design the recipe for water, recipe for beer simultaneously so that we get the same beer every single time through, making the water perfect every single time. So we don't have to worry about fluctuations from which recipe of water are we getting from the water department. And so the water authority is
recipe of water.
Yeah. I was like,
what cocktail that we're getting.
What's on the menu today?
Yeah, whatever. It fluctuates depending on how they're treating it. So and where they're drawing the source water from. So there is some mineral fluctuation in the water that you have to overcome and like be on top of.
Yeah, water is pretty important to beer. I mean, as I'm coming to learn, you know what I mean, like your sources, like where where you're located, and the water that is available to you is very huge in what you can do, from my understanding.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm skipping the middleman and not relying on what comes out of the tap, and so I'm changing that and developing it around what I want the water to be as opposed to what the water is. And so that helps with making a really clear and beautiful beer, is being able to soften the water to a point of non-existent minerality, and then just throw a pinch back in there to get that softest soft Pilsen water, and then go from there. And then you want hard-ass IPA water, then we do that. And if you want like the hazy beer water, it's easier to do when you start at ground zero rather than working up from what you're given at the tap.
I never really thought about that part of it, like how you would control the water. I was just like, well, you probably either use tap water or you use like distilled, and that was it. Like that was like there was no in between in my mind, like for those two things.
RO's it's very similar to distilled. Distilled's going to be like absolutely absent of minerality, and RO water is going to have some. Just the performance of the filter determines what's left in there, but it's imperceptibly low as far as minerality goes. The residual.
So how's the waste part of the beer industry? Like, I mean, how does that like get handled, and like what are some of the, I guess, because in that, like, you know what I mean, the controls that like you have to be aware of in the industry.
That's another big thing. It's like a 4-to-1 ratio. There's a lot of waste in beer. It's really, really, really hard to do it zero waste. I think even impossible. But we have to be conscientious of what we're putting back down the drain, and so that means I collect all solids. So we screen everything before it goes to the drain, and then we'll collect chemicals. If it's extremely low pH, like caustic thing, or extremely high pH. A caustic thing, or extremely low acidic rinse, or whatever. We try to normalize those through tanking them and then getting them to neutral, and then letting them settle, and then putting back just the liquid into the water. Hopefully it's as close to, somewhere between like 6 and 8 pH as possible, 7 being completely neutral. But yeah, not putting shit back in the environment that we don't want, the water authority having to do further, treatment of, and like slowing them up.
Guy busting up your business, coming in. You're not doing beer right, son. You gotta get the heck out of here. Your pH is all over the scale. Just coming in, kicking ass. Oh man, that sounds awful. Well, the water mob, Jesus.
Well, if you send him some fucked up water that kills his enzymes that he's using to eat the garbage that's in the wastewater, he's gonna be pissed.
I'm sure you're
and it's gonna
right.
cost money.
This is just this whole world of like, I know a little bit about Brewing, but like I never even thought about all this shit. I'm like, damn, we gotta shake down the water, man. I'm gonna pay this motherfucker off. Otherwise.
We don't really. they don't come beating at your door or anything, but it's just we wouldn't even have they wouldn't know really. We could just
So you
be,
really could
we could be an asshole and just send all this shit down.
But you don't because you're ethical. That's why I like you.
Because we don't want to fuck up the environment.
That's good. I'm a fan now.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it would become harder to brew the worse the environment gets. I mean, the ingredients, it's a food source. I mean,
sure,
it comes from, it's not like you're building like factories, like nuclear plant. Like I feel like nuclear plants are like, we don't give a fuck how bad the environment is. We'll just like keep producing nuclear shit. But like with like something like a burger, you kind of want, the grass to be cool. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a garbage in, garbage out relationship. If you shitty fucked up water, you're gonna have shitty fucked up beer. If you have shitty fucked up grass, you're gonna have shitty fucked up cows. I assume, but yeah, say like the malt and barley. If it's bad stuff, it's just not going to make good beer. But I think the market kind of allows us to have a wide assortment, a very large variety of quality malts. Like right now, if your shit is not the highest quality, people just don't buy it because we have that mobility and that selection, that variety. And so it's really pushing the quality into things because we have choices and we can do that. And then sustainability, it's one of the pillars of our business as well. And people are starting to focus on that. And so our preferences are driving market preferences. And I think it's going to end up somewhere better than it has been. People are going to be more conscientious and look into the things that they're putting back into the environment when they're making it. Of course, we're a tiny brewery. I mean, we make 100-gallon batches at a time. Whether if we do 3 batches in a day, we're still not, we're not like, putting a coal factory or whatever type of waste drainage back in there. But every little bit is it's cumulative, and so what we can mitigate on our end is doable. Like we can do what's financially possible for us. I mean, we can't afford a wastewater treatment of facility at our place, but we also don't warrant it. We can do some very simple things that are within budget that don't really cost that much. They just take a little bit of ingenuity and time to do the right fucking thing and make sure you're not, shitting where you eat.
Yeah. Science this shit the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all about science, man. I really do fucks with it, like as a concept. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm glad you endorse science on this podcast.
For the record, Neil Glausier, endorse science.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm not alone in that. I was feeling like kind of in the closet there for a while.
I'm married to a professional scientist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In real
what
life.
kind?
Neuroscientist.
Not the same as yours.
No.
But by the way, I wanted to ask you a question about something you mentioned earlier. Is all the beer you do just stay in house, like at the Burgh'ers?
I cannot possibly make enough beer to distribute and keep my taps full. Like we have 22 taps between the stores, and we sell a lot of beer. And I deliver the beer too. So me running kegs back and forth between our 2 restaurants, 35 miles apart, and the amount that they're drinking weekly is impossible for me to even think about any small distribution at this point.
Well, so that's what I wanted to ask you before I thought you might have mentioned in the beginning that you were thinking about like having more of the beer go out like farther, like having it actually outside of the restaurant. That's like in some kind of sale capacity. Maybe I misunderstood you.
No, you totally caught that. But we can't do that without growth. And we are in the process now of looking for an alternate location. We have a tenuous or tentative plan right now with a location, but there's some red tape involved right now we're working through, and we're going to put a large production facility in between our 2 restaurants, and it'll be a restaurant and brewery. So I'll finally have stainless steel visible to our guests, which it's always been kind of a thing that like hurts me when we walk in, they're like, where's the brewery? And I'm like, well, it's in this underground lair in Zelienople. And
Zelienople.
I could show you pictures. However,
they have a very cool gazebo in Zelienople. That's it though. That and the one every summer they give away a car. Like it's like buy a raffle ticket.
The
Get this, like,
firemen, yeah. Every
I keep
summer.
forgetting that you're from around the area.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I grew up in Mars, PA, man. We went one night.
I was just out at Mars. Like, I was in Stick City.
Oh, yeah.
I was up in Stick City and what was it? Missing Links.
Yeah, solid kids out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and on the point or whatever. I was like, did a little bit like Mars is like I didn't realize how far Mars was from Cranberry, which it's not that far, but I mean, no, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's so weird, like growing up there and how every single time I go home, it's completely different. Like the place that used to be the place, it was like the restaurant. If you set foot in there once when you were over the age of 21, you would never leave that town kind of bar.
Yeah.
Like it's now like this really cool chic, like they do like a bunch of like infused liquors and like it's a great brunch spot. And they open up the whole back patio and you can look over the creek that's still full of very dangerous heavy metals, but whatever. It looks pretty, you know, like it's so weird. The town has changed like so much. Like everything is like, it used to be so small. But we still have that dumb spaceship.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's not dumb. I actually like to say spaceship.
It like, well, from my understanding, like Cranberry like blew up crazy. I mean, it's definitely one of the largest or the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the country. And with that comes a change. I mean, everywhere else and like I was just having this conversation with a guy. Random guy. That's what I love about breweries. You can just go in. They didn't have any seats available out there. You know what I mean? Like it was all filled. It was packed. It was, it was Saturday night. And there was a guy sitting at the table. He had an extra chair. And I was like, is this taken? He's like, nah, just have a seat. And we just struck up a conversation. It was super dope. I'm out literally in the sticks because when they say Stick City, they ain't lying. It's fucking Stick City.
It's out there for sure.
It's out there. I mean, but cool ass dude. But just how the economy and the culture is impacted by that growth and the change there. And like you said, like he was saying the same thing. Like there's a bunch of things that are popping up because people want something to do out there. I mean, like the money is out there. You know what I mean? So they're like, well, what are you doing? It doesn't matter how much like commerce you have if you don't have anything to do before or after work. Like,
yeah, man, it's there's a lot of stuff moving out there. I mean, the I guess general growth is coming north from Pittsburgh, and there's great places to live. There's things to do now. There are breweries, I guess, restaurants, but it was kind of, I guess, very rural for a long, long time, well before I got there. Fiore started the original Burgh'ers 10 years ago in 2010, and it was pretty desolate out there, and there wasn't much to do, and you had to be kind of a destination to get out there, or just very local to your subset of people, the residents there that are close enough that have disposable income that want to go eat your product, drink your stuff, and it's been moving at a high rate of speed as far as like property and housing and affluence moving that way. And so it's a great time to put in a service-based business where people want to come drink your shit.
Yeah. Man, we want something to do, man. Like give them something to do, and like so like what are some things that you do? So first and foremost, I guess we'll get to the next beer because you brought several of these beautiful beers here. So because you tell us what you're already on the next.
I'm
one.
on it, man.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, damn! I like.
Oh yeah, dude! I've been running my finger on the room like take a sip day. Get in on that.
Oh, you
better drink that beer first.
Yeah, don't cross the streams.
Yeah, dude.
So this is yet again another clear beer, but this is on the IPA end of the spectrum. So this is like a West Coast style IPA. It's got some good bitterness to it. Then you're gonna
Sweat and Gold.
Sweat and Gold.
Sweat and Gold.
So that hell with the lid off quote goes on further, and that I think it's Howard Kassan maybe, and so he's writing this like Pittsburgh story, and he's talking about it. It was hell with the lid off, talking about the steel mills and all that. It was a time of sweat, an age of sweat and gold. Talking about turning your labor, your physical gifts into money, into your sustenance. It was this is a place where any old guy could come out here, bust his ass, make a great living, and provide. And so, this is one of our beers. It's an old school beer, and it's got some of that bust your ass quality, old school, like stinky ass hops in it, Some good bitter resin going on there. A little bit of like ripened tangerine and some grapefruit rind going on there. But it's clear, it's dry, it's clean. But it's a big old West Coast IPA.
Yeah, it's that good pine, like that pine.
I dig it. Yeah.
I mean, it's weird, like how, like it's hard to find a good West Coast on tap at times. Like it's, you know, I go to some folks and like they're the haze is all the craze.
It's
it's all it's like, what about that good pine? That's what got you here. You going just a bad, like, what is you doing?
it's the new class of drinkers are demanding that. You know, that's the flavor where we've gone. We started
Fuck them kids.
Well, I mean, they are good.
They are. Listen,
No lie.
they are delicious.
They're
I love
fucking
them.
good.
I love them. I love lactose. I love all kind. I love all the shit. I love all the bad shit. I love all, like, you throw cake in that shit. I do all the things that you want to the beers or whatever. If it's a good beer, it's a good beer.
Are there cake-based beers that I don't know about?
There is a whole
It is an entire
genre of cake.
Really?
pastry.
All right, well, let's change the podcast now. I want you both to tell me everything you know about cake-based beers and where I can get one right now.
Well, we're gonna have to wrap up real soon because I haven't made a whole lot of leaps into the pastry end of things. I'm still a beer curmudgeon that likes clear beer. I like hazy beer too, but you know.
But I mean, like I said, I like a good, you know what I mean, a West Coast, and it's hard to, and I like stouts, you know, like, and it's like, even then, like, I find, you know, it's hard for me to find a good, you know, like year round, and you get a good, like, dark, you know, beer in there.
Yeah, it's definitely year round. It's really hard.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know, I feel like there's just not a lot of space out there for people. Like the seasonals, you know, remember the seasons, and would come and you would have a beer or two or three that would pop out, and you just be like, those are the beers of the now it's, they just do what the fuck they want.
Anything.
Well,
It's
so weird.
you want.
Anything you want, anytime, anywhere. Janet Jackson.
Like
Janet Jackson Brewers.
it was so weird that like beer very much used to be like TV, and that you had a couple choices,
You
right?
got 6 channels.
Yeah,
now.
you had like 6 or 8 channels, and that was it. And then one day, so like I found, I'm like, wait a minute, there's this beer that only exists like a couple months of the year, and now it's like, I mean, it's went so much far. Like I remember like a pumpkin beer. Whoa. Oh, a Christmas beer. Whoa. And that, I mean, this is like 10, 15 years ago, like when that first started kind of creeping in. And now it's, I mean, everything seems like it's seasonal. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's like the seasonal release, but it's like it feels like the industry. I mean, am I crazy? Is that like a real thing that I'm imagining, or like it just feels like the industry as a whole has kind of been moving away from, you know, like the big seasonals and everybody doing the same kind of, I mean, or whatever.
I think there's definitely a variety of products, and there's available all the time. So variety and availability makes year-round beers that used to be seasonal a lot easier. But also, I think drinkers just want to drink what they want to drink, and demand drives what you're going to make. So if people are beating on your door for a red velvet cake stout year-round, then that's what you make. Or if they want a Christmas beer in July, then that's what you make. Although I don't think we've gone that far to getting the spice beers in July, but you do see like the traditional Oktoberfest release is what I used to look forward to a lot. Now, like instead of it coming out in August for the September ready, it's out in June or May or something.
Fucking pumpkin beers at Giant Eagle on fucking July 5th. You motherfuckers, fuck you. I hate
no,
you.
yeah, that's kind of what I was like. It seems like it got like, and now like you even talk to bartenders or people who like serve, and they're just like, yeah, man, we got to get rid of this shit now because we're not going to be able to get rid of it in December. Like this shit sucks.
Is this new pumpkin beer, or did you put out the shit that you didn't fucking finish selling in March?
But now it's cask aged, It's like, oh, okay, it's sat in the basement for half a fucking year. Cool, Jerry, thanks.
Barrel aged, steel barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want a spiced ale in the wintertime because in the summertime, because because I associate seasonal depression with the spice. You know what I mean? So if I were to have that, I would just be down. I would just like want to go in and like close the blinds and just like, just like what the, like, no, I'm cool, man. Give me the,
I want sun's out beer.
Yeah, even the sun's out. I want to sit on the lawn and get some of them rays. Not too many. I mean, skin cancer is real. Like, motherfuckers, stop over tanning yourselves. That shit is it's dangerous. Orange motherfuckers. Anyway, so what is this next pour here?
That's the other. That was the other can of Sweat and Gold.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I figured. There's three of us. There's 2 cans.
We are really on the Drinking Partners podcast.
Yes, we are.
Episode 2.
I'm gonna have a great time hosting later. It's gonna be a good time. I have to host a show immediately after the show.
Oh, nice. Who's on?
Oh, it's just the fantastic Blue Dust Comedy Open Mic. Oh man, it's quite a time.
Man, they good barbecue. Good beer.
No, I love their food. I like that they don't do a lot of traditional bar stuff. Like they don't do like a bunch of like fried appetizers. They really do like their own menu and their own thing. They just do the stuff they like, and I respect that. Like just so many times I walk people in, they're like, "What do you mean you don't have wings?" And they're like, "We don't have wings, man." Like I don't know. We just don't do that, man. You want some dope ass tacos and like good barbecue? Like we have that. Like,
do you have foie gras tacos?
Oh, I don't think they have foie gras tacos.
That'd be dope.
Foie gras.
They used on Tuesdays. They make their own pierogies though, which are dope.
Where do you get foie gras from fucking
Foie gras.
in Pittsburgh? Where's your sources?
We were just at Poulet Bleu last night and got foie gras.
See, that sounds like a motherfucking. I'm not in that tax bracket. That's not a.
It's 2 doors down from Burgh'ers.
Yeah, that's not a. Yeah, well, I mean, that's 2 doors down, but it's also like two income levels up.
I was gonna say, 2 tax brackets.
I don't know. I can't even like. Did you say Pepe Le Pew's? What the fuck was
that? No, Poulet Bleu,
Lake
man.
Pierre?
Poulet Bleu, right down the street from us.
Wait, I've been to Pepe's. I love Pepe's, man. They got a $9.99 special. You get a sandwich, fries, and a drink. So nice.
That's pretty
nice.
But yeah, they have like a lot a small plates, so you don't have you don't have to like refinance the house.
Can I go in and get like a little like a little foie gras slider for like $25?
No, man.
Just a little bite.
No, they're gonna slide you a tiny little piece of foie gras on a plate, and it's like $30. But for real, but like it's
have on the podcast.
It's delicious.
It
is. It's decadent. It's extravagant, and it's something you should like treat yourself to at least like once twice a year if you can.
And when you did something good, you know what I mean, good for you. Yeah, that's how I treat drugs. I got I got good for like, oh, I did it. Like I deserve to completely go into this realm of belief and thinking. You know what I mean? Like it's but I mean we all have our addictions. You like burgers and frog and ducks, and I mean duck livers.
My wife and I, we don't get out very often. She's a crazy worker, and she was out playing yesterday, had a baby shower, and was doing stuff, and we somehow ended up actually being able to go out on a date. And
date nights are so hard when you motherfucking be out there and with the grinds and whatnot. I mean, as we get older, it's such a because when you do get off, you just want to just be on the couch. Like,
I want to be in my jammies, doing nothing. Like,
you gotta make that effort. I feel you.
It's important.
We were out, and she met me at Burgh'ers, and we walked down the street and like, let's get some food. So we shared a bottle of wine and some foie gras, and it was amazing.
Well, that's it, though.
Got to catch up with each other and see each other, not in a who took out the garbage,
you
clean the cat box,
administrative capacity.
Yeah, not checking off the list. And
she talked about neuroscience. You talked about the waterman trying to shake you down again. That's nice that you guys shared like that. That's cool.
It was.
Truth. Yeah, no, you got to seal. That's a deal sealer. You get the foie gras, man. That's
I don't think I've ever had it, or if I had, I was really drunk and don't remember.
I've seen it. It looks fucking dope. It's like buttery. And
man.
I've heard it. I've watched videos on it. Never actually had it.
I had it once in fried rice in Boston.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, a very small amount. It was like a duck fried rice. It was kind of expensive, but it was like my birthday, so I didn't give a shit at all. It was really good. But that's probably not the optimal way to eat it. But I had a great time. I was hammered. So.
I would say probably my least favorite way, and I never even had it that way. With rice? Come on, man.
I don't know, man.
some sort of delicious, whatever fruity drizzle crap on it with some, I don't know, scalloped taters or whatever the hell they put under it.
Wow.
It was
Scalloped potatoes
amazing.
Make a repeat.
I'm sorry to plug on your place, but they did a fine job of it last night.
It was like shit. I mean, if you in the town and you looking for some motherfucking duck liver, then motherfucking get down there, man.
It was amazing. It was beautiful. Service is great there. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on this tangent.
I know. I'm going to save up now.
Save up. Take your
Like,
lady there.
now I'm just like, okay. See,
Well, now that I've clearly had it wrong and I didn't know, like I felt like I've sullied the experience of fat and duck liver. Now I feel like I have to go reset. So now
Yeah, you can't be eating that shit in fried rice.
Nah, man, that sounds like a straight.
You've gotta-
You need a raw.
I didn't
uncut.
know I was wrong.
The shit that
Leave
you
me
had,
alone, man.
the shit that you had was stepped on. That's a term.
Crud.
Yeah, I mean that shit was stepped
Stepped on.
Yeah,
Stepped on.
Yeah, that was diluted a little bit there. You need that base, that straight to the veins.
That good.
Put it on a spoon and cook it up a little bit. That's about it. That's all you need.
That's
maybe
pretty
a
much
little
how you
baking
get it.
soda.
It's still like a nice time eating it. That's all
A
I'm saying.
little baking
You
soda.
guys are being
baby.
real mean to my culinary experience right now. Really
Make
poo-pooing at you.
foie gras.
Make front rock like this. Oh man. So what is the future of burgers? I mean, like what's that? How do you grow as a brewer? Like what are the things that you're like the skills that you're trying to sharpen? I mean, like
Well, continuing education, I finished Siebel Institute last year, their advanced brewing theory, and I think that was a great solidification of the things I already knew from a wealth of self-study. It really organized
like,
it.
but what is it that like, like when we say like the advanced level or whatever, like what kind of concept is in an advanced level? Like, I mean, are you looking at like, enzymes and shit? Are you looking at
Molecular?
Yeah,
It's we're
Ions
getting
and
down.
shit.
Yeah, getting down to the Lewis structure, which is when you look at a chemical, how it's broken down into its subparts, like looking at the very most intricate molecular structure of it and figuring out how to manage your ingredients, your process, your everything from that level and building up from there and then scaling it and then being able to translate it to the people who work with you, for you, and be able to do that consistently. Get it always, the same way, the same time. And that really comes down to being able to pinpoint where in the process at its most finest resolution, your ingredients, your structure, your recipe all live in, and organize it in such a way that you can repeat it through collecting the particular data points that will yield the best consistency. And science. So I'm like
science. I don't know if did we endorse science yet?
Dude, I was like the Lewis structure. Go on.
It's dumb nerd talk, but that's like when you look at a chemical composition, a solution, whatever, like you see how it's drawn out, like in science book, it's like a Lewis structure. It's what it's called, but like we're not drawing those on the blackboard at Burgh'ers Brewing. It's like, but no, like when
I learned this at the Burger Institute. All right, I mean the Brewing Institute.
No.
Sorry,
but my education is going that direction now and getting very attuned and like science savvy, and then also being a businessman. Like I am not just a brewer. Like we own a business, Fiore and I, and we have to.
That's hard.
It's not easy. I quit a career that was not business and came into this, and I just wanted to brew beer, and that was very glamorous, and it was very romantic and all that stuff. I'm gonna make the beer. I'm gonna stir the pots, and I'm gonna do all these things, and it's gonna be beautiful, and life is gonna be this quaint and pastoral freaking existence of making beer.
I think you might be the first one to describe brewing beer as glamorous, because that shit is hard as.
No, it's not. Honestly, there's about 3 hours of glamour, and that's the very beginning of making beer. Like you put all the ingredients in, and things are doing the things, and then after that, it's just downhill like fucking work, and it's all it's elbows and assholes. Everybody's cleaning shit, and it's no fun at that point. It's just work. But the romantic, vision of it was, I'm just going to be doing this crafty thing and it's going to be super awesome because it's what I love to do and I'm super passionate about it. But all that ends like, the second, like, you have to think about it from a business perspective, and it doesn't end. It just gets, it gets spread very thin and reproportioned. So like now I have folks who are
not at all discreet.
Not you. You're very discreet so far.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been using hand signals.
I know.
But now I've got employees and folks who are helping me that are doing the heavy lifting. But I spend a lot of time in front of a computer, finding ingredients, figuring out recipes, doing stuff. But my romantic vision of making beer is now more work, and it is my job, and that's what we do.
I mean, like I get it in the sense because it's just parallels with comedy or whatever, in the sense that like there's the telling jokes and shit. But then there's like the actual business side of like, like the tickets and the sales and the booking and the promotion and all the, it's the business side of shit that's like, fuck. And
the part that I'm constantly in denial about.
Yeah, like, and then like, I hate that.
I'm not a
shit.
businessman. I am a business, man. Like, fuck. Like, this is the thing. Like, the rest of my life, I hate money. Like, I hate it more than anything in the entire world. But like, at a certain point, you have to just be able to like kind of pull yourself back. But like, you can think about anything ideally as much as you want. And like, I'm the rugged lone wolf comic, and I'm going out there and doing this and this and that, and this is what I want to do. But at the end of the day, it's like you still have to do all this promotion. You have to keep track of your money if you want to have any real success or go anywhere farther than running around the city like a dickhead the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. Like, you really like you have to. I think it's like the part of being an adult that like sucks. It's like you have to realize, one, if you really want to do something, you have to take the sucky parts with it. There's always sucky parts. You never get a pure experience. Like, it doesn't work that way. You always will have to do things you do not want to do. No. It's like the clause. It's the end of every single like job description and any other duties that may befall you or whatever it says, like, becomes the job. Like, sometimes that's it. Like, I work at a comedy club. Like, I run a comedy club. When we started there, I never thought I'd have to bust tables and do a bunch of like waitressy kind of stuff, but now I do, because like that's what needs done. Yeah. That's
like, when you are running a business, like, you are wearing all the hats. Like, that's just it's all the hats. Like, it doesn't matter what you are good at. It doesn't matter what you want to do. It's if it needs to fucking be done, you either do it or you pay somebody else much more money to do it. You know what I mean? And like, also, and then you also still got to do it. Like, so
it's true. And then there's oftentimes not a lot of extra money to have a paid Maytag man just rolling around, like, fixing all the fucking fires that are going on. You're that guy. Mm-hmm. And so the Maytag man never sleeps. The delivery guy is always rolling, and the brewer is always stirring, and, you're always ordering, and like you wear all those hats, and like every day is, fix what's broken, handle what needs to be handled. Oh, and we make beer too, by the way. And
that's how I feel sometimes. Like, is this still comedy? Like, what the
no, I think it's sometimes for sure. Like, I think we both suffer that for a lot more than
writing.
Like, what the fuck am I doing now? Like,
writing a schedule for multiple months based on a theoretical like usage or throughput in your tap rooms based on last year's numbers, but you're also expecting growth. What the fuck? Make spreadsheets, dude. Get good. My advice: learn to make spreadsheets.
I fucking hate spreadsheets. I hate all of it. I hate record keeping. I hate all of that shit.
I have like just a fucking stable of formula laden goddamn spreadsheets that like are my creation and like will probably be my demise as well. But like that's how my life is now. I make a spreadsheet and I live by it. And then Google Calendar, it pops up and like I go. It's Pavlov. Like Google Calendar rings the bell and I show up at a place and I do the thing and like hopefully it all works out.
I think it's important to have that like kind of controlled madness. I mean, like as you're, coming from, if you're not, like, business trained, like, minded in that, like coming it from like that angle, coming from more of the artist angle. I mean, like, and that's where, from the beer side, I consider it, more of that, artist side of things. It's science like a motherfucker, but it's science and art. And then going into like having to be on the business side or whatever, I think that, same thing with the comedy or whatever passion that you have going into that, I think it's important to have some of that like kind of controlled chaos. Like I have the same kind of thing where I've got these notes here and I got this, and I know where I can access all the things, and I have a system that's like kind of a shoddy, but still like a system in place for it.
You sound like you're describing me. Like that's exactly.
It
works barely.
Yeah, like I can't explain it to you. I can't like just hand this over to somebody and be like, "Yo, this is the how you do it. This is the Dave Bracey method."
We hired like this website dude recently for the club, and it didn't exactly work out, but it was at one point I had to describe like part of our system. I would probably explain our system as Jackassian, and that it's a haphazard mess that two people know how it works, but barely.
I mean, if you're rolling solo, it only has to work for you. But we have 50 employees, and I have 2 of my very own. And it has to work for everybody when you have this cohort of people who are dependent on you to be the one with the answers. That's another hard thing. It's like always being the guy who can fix it, answer it, and
and
like,
make it better and
make it be the adult in this situation. I'm like, dude, I don't want to be the adult. But no, that's where it's at. And like in real life, I love all of that. Like it is it's like being in an action movie all the friggin' time. Like you're just, what the fuck next, man? And like from scene to scene, like, it's a different thing. And it's a big change from, project managing an engineering thing or, building something. But at the same time, it's so super similar. It's just we're making a product and we're delivering an experience. And so we get the touchy-feely, artsy-fartsy side on the experience end. But when I'm making beer, it's like we're making a product. And so we have these, product dimensions, these expectations, which is, what we want the beer to be or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's, manufacturing the thing that we passionately made in the most artistic way in the whole world previous to. But when you stand on the brew deck, it's all, it's just work.
Tell us about this Farkleberry, man. It is phenomenal.
Yeah, dude, it's really good.
Man.
I've already had like 2. Like,
really?
Yeah,
you guys are sneaking over there.
Oh
Holy
yeah,
shit.
no, Farkleberry.
Yeah, we just
I
busted
don't know
it.
what you.
That is actually a beer that I want to talk more than the ingredients about too. But just in short, that is blackberry and guava fruited sour. But more importantly, Farkleberry is it's an actual berry that exists,
really? But
a guy named Jack Bogut,
Jack Bogut.
Jack Bogut was a Pittsburgh icon who did all this, like charity stuff. He was a radio guy for KDKA, and he was in the window at now my Pittsburghese is falling apart. Well, it's like the version of Macy's that Pittsburgh has.
Kaufman's.
Was it Kaufman's? Maybe. I want to say so. In downtown.
It's probably Kaufman. Did they have big ass clocks? Kaufman.
He's doing a radio show, much like you're doing now, and like people listen to the radio and shit and like dug him, and like he would do these gimmicks. So like, come down here and get this Farkleberry blah blah cookie and pay $1 and like give a penny to the children's like free care fund or whatever. And he was just like radio DJ guy, like full of energy, like the best huckster ever. And he did it to operate a charity donation to the children's hospital or to the children's free care fund. And so what we're doing with Farkleberry Tart is it's Farkleberry, which is this thing that doesn't necessarily exist. It's my gimmick berry. So I leave it a blackberry base because Farkleberries are an actual like blackish berry, but we don't get them here. And then, I pair a different fruit each time, but $2 of every serving of that beer goes to the Children's Hospital Free Care Fund.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to do that year round and make that a part of our selfless service pillar in our business to give back and make sure that we donated, I think, $2,600 from July to December of last year. Nice. And I want to throw down like 10 G's and throw it at the, where this place where children who, have an ailment, cannot afford to fix it, have an ability to go into a place that can fix it without having to worry about bills and bullshit and all that stuff. But, the Free Care Fund will do that. And we're going to have a year-round donation-based beer, and it's going to be Farkleberry Tart, and hopefully give back to some kids who are should be taken care of.
And just to be clear, when you say throw, you mean walk in the front door and just go, ah, and just chuck money everywhere?
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. Like, that's real showy, in a way shitty, but you're allowed because you're giving them that money. So you're not making them do anything. So if you just walk in and just like, $100 bills everywhere, that would be pretty cool.
That's
your right. I'm just saying. It's
the biggest logistical problem was do we tape $1 bills to the rocks or $100 bills to the rocks before we throw them in the window?
Oh, well, that's a whole different thing. I'm money man.
But
you gotta bust through like Kool-Aid Man, but full of dollars, and it'll just be spilling over and shit.
So we got with our accounting people, and they were like, "Look, the best bang for your buck was a big ridiculous check that you just hand them."
Yeah.
And then you give them some beers and you have a luncheon and say nice things, and it's way easier. And you're old, so you probably won't throw your arm out chucking 10,000 ones through a window.
Yeah, I have yet to ever be paid in a large check, and that is
but
really
I would
on
take
my
it
bucket
anytime
list.
at any place.
I don't care what it doesn't even have to be for anything. Just give me a big.
Think how much more fun comedy would be if at the end of every show you got paid and a giant check and you rode around with them like Happy Gilmore. You just got a whole pile of them, and the back of your car. Comedy would be so much more fun again.
Dude, I just got to do that with with Joey. What the fuck is his last name? From the Children's Free Care Fund. He's like their charity project marketing guy, and he brought this big stupid check to Burgh'ers, and we got to sign it and stand there and hold it, the Happy Gilmore check. And,
you lucky bastard!
I felt like I'd made it because I just remember Ed McMahon or whatever the fuck his name was. Come in and bust in on old ladies and curlers and shit, and be like, "Here's your $10 million." Oh my god! Oh my god! Except for we're giving them the money, and I was just happy to hold that big ass check.
I just want to be in the room with it. Just be a part of it, giving, receiving. I don't care how it is. I just want to be somewhere holding two ends of that motherfucker. I was there.
It was super cool, but in real life, we had to give him a regular check.
Yeah.
But everyone knows that. We know that.
Yeah.
It's like the whole Santa thing. It's like Santa's fun. Santa's cool.
I think you should have a bit, but you should be able to bring that motherfucker into the bank.
Oh,
and
for
the bank should have a place for large checks where they at least take it off your hands and then put it in the back. Keep it like Santa. Don't tell them a fucking kid. Well, listen, I tell my kids. I told them to do Santa the whole time. But just take it. And just complete the transaction. You know what I mean? Walk in. Oh shit! Do you got it? Is that a big ass check? What did you do? Where'd you get this big ass check? You're like, I just
feel like it should be law that in every bank there should be one even bigger ATM that should be able to take that. And then giant pennies. Yeah, just for maybe this will make it multi-purpose. Anything you can fit in that slot.
Big slot in the wall.
Where do we go with the slippery slope here? We're gonna need a fisheye camera or a panoramic to deposit my phone.
Yeah.
Just saying. Think about where this has to go.
Oh man. Well,
big checks are cool, but Farkleberry Tart is
really good.
I think
Thank you for sharing it.
It's a delicious beer. It's a great cause and stuff, but so blackberry is the base, and it's just a kind of a typical Berliner Weiss type of beer base, and we use American hops in it. Actually, no, we use New Zealand hops in it. I lied. Yeah, so it has some very modern hops in it to give it a little bit of a hop structure, a whirlpool type hop structure, kind of like a hazy beer aroma thing. And then we throw the fruit at it in the bright tank and make a not overly fruited, gloop gloppy, fruited sour that is drinkable, not too tart, not too sweet, because I ain't trying to serve diabetes in a glass.
So that's why you don't do the cake thing? Is that why? You don't want to serve up diabetes?
And that sounds like beat.
We try to serve healthy food. We're all about some dessert and milkshakes, but I can't make every beer a milkshake.
Yeah. So this is an honest question because I only know bare minimum. My brewing extent goes past home brewing. I don't know much more. I know a bit about distilling. That's about it. But when people do make I can't remember who makes the burnt almond tort beer. Or there might be more than one version of that. Do they actually put the cake in it? I have no idea.
Yes and no. I mean, you can use a lot of other adjuncts, which would be flavors, grains, things. But I think mostly people are if you're making an Oreo beer, you're throwing Oreos in it. If you're doing the burnt almond tort, you're throwing the components of that and probably some of the actual dessert in there. Depends on what direction you get to go or you want to go. It's your beer. It's how you want to design it and what you're looking for, and also what yields the closest facsimile of the thing you're trying to represent.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I was like, maybe they got some juice that tastes like it,
Yeah, no, it is amazing how you can take various hops and grains and things of that nature, and then make it taste like something completely fucking different. That's alchemy. It's like when it's lead into gold type shit. It's like what? So that's why I don't. I fucks with y'all brewers, but I don't really trust y'all motherfuckers because you're wizards at the end of the day, and them fucking wizards, man. You see what I mean? But before we get out of here,
I prefer cleric status.
Clerics, man. I was just been watching this fucking Castlevania. That's a whole nother conversation. But so before we get out of here, this Wiley and Fullerton. Tell us about this.
Another one. So I made this beer for.
Got a little hazy there.
It's a
is that a whirlpool boil? Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's definitely whirlpool hops in it. But no, I started that beer as a clear IPA, and this is jazz. And so this beer started out doing some techniques and some different things. I wanted to make it clear first, so I did just all things to make clear beer. This version right here is things that don't necessarily make a hazy beer, but don't make a clear beer either. So whirlpool hops and a very non-flocculent, kind of funky yeast. And I'm using a yeast mixture in that one.
Flocculent.
But so in the 20s, the Pittsburgh had a great jazz scene, and Wiley and Fullerton is what was called the crossroads of the world, and so our Dizzy Gillespie and folks like that that played in these white clubs and these white places. They weren't allowed to stay in the hotels and all these places, so they go down to the area. And they stayed down there, and this is we were a very jazz forward and thriving area in around the Hill District area, and this was a place where Black people thrived and made money and art and had a great community there. And Wiley and Fullerton was by a particular very famous jazz radio DJ back then called the Crossroads of the World, and this is my attempt at jazz beer, fucking around with ingredients in ways that shouldn't be fucked with, or ways that are not generally fucked with, and turning out what happens with hops and malt and yeast combinations in this beer. There's 2 yeast in that beer that we combined in proportion to give it different flavor structures and things like that. And then the next iteration of it will be a full on intentional hazy beer. This beer stays hazy because of the particular yeast and protein that I'm making happen in there, but it's not meant to be Haze Boy beer. And like all our beer names celebrate something, people, place, thing, event in Pittsburgh. And this is what, my roaring 20s, which I want to turn to the pouring 20s, here now that we're in the 2020s.
Bars.
Yeah. And, like celebrate the things in Pittsburgh that make Pittsburgh great. And, places that it doesn't really exist now because we've put a bunch of hockey arenas and stadiums and shit there. But, that Hill District area, Wiley and Fullerton in particular, was a place where jazz, art, Black-centric things thrived at a time when it was not easy and at a time where it was not, accepted, around things. And so highlighting that, making that known to our customers. I want, Pittsburgh has these things, but it's not all Stillers and Penguins. And, we got some culture here.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Well, you said it. God damn it. That is good shit. That is a great way to wrap up this podcast, man. Thank you so much for coming out here with all this knowledge.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for the hamburgers and beer. That was amazing.
The beer, the beef and beer, the beer and beef, and the knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is Sunday, man. I feel like we went to church. Shit. You know what I mean? The Church of Science out this motherfucker.
Church of Science.
Out here eliminating variables and shit with these flocculent ass yeasts. You know what I mean? These Louis bonds, these Louis ass chains. The motherfuckers ain't see me coming up with these Louis chains, but you know what I mean? They in there.
You can find Louis Armstrong at Wiley and Fullerton a short 100 years ago.
I learned that I make poor culinary choices. We learned a lot today. I learned a lot.
Dope. Before we get out of here, tell them where they can find you and they can find your beer and your food and your knowledge and these Louis chains.
All right, so we've got two locations. One in Lawrenceville, 3601 Butler Street, and another one, Zelienople, way up north.
They got a kick-ass gazebo, folks. Go up.
Yeah. And
put it on its side, roll it down a hill like we used to do when we were kids.
And so that's at 215 West Newcastle. And you can find us at burgersbrewing.com, Burghers Brewing PGH, Facebook, Burghers Brewing on Insta, Burghers Brewing TikTok, and Facebook.
Now, that's Burghers. Burghers.
Correct. Yeah.
ERS.
Burghers.
Oh my God, I just got that right now. Holy crap. You guys are geniuses. I just thought you guys, I was like, what's a very direct name? Just we just do burgers, like a place called steaks.com or something. It was a restaurant. But that's unbelievable. Wow, what a smart jam.
Another fast fact before we go. In 1 year and 1 year only, the Pittsburgh Pirates were called the Burghers. 1890. That's why we call it the 1890 lager.
They didn't even invent the hamburger until 1912. Wow. Boom.
Getting history and booze out this motherfucker. You trying to be the new Rick Seaback. I see you out here.
A lesson in every glass.
You're gunning. Let me tell you about that bridge, son.
We do have a flying off the bridge. Where some dude rolled over the Duquesne Bridge before it was finished.
Yeah. Crash
landed and lived. It's called Flying Off the Bridge. You can grab that at both of our locations. It's one of our crazy, hazy ass beers.
Yeah, I got a historian on the payroll. You know what I mean? That's how you get to it. Hey, where can they find you, Derek?
You can find me, of course, at DerekMinto.com. You can find all my shows and all that stuff. And, of course, you can always check out the Burning Bridges Comedy Club. We have all of our stuff all over social media. You can find us all there. Being on the website, you can find all of our upcoming shows. We produce local and national acts. We try to bring as funny people as possible that you've never heard of. It's a great experience. If you don't want to drink, you don't have to drink. We have great food. It's in a great neighborhood. You could go down the street and go to Burgh'ers and eat there and walk 3 blocks and go to a cool local comedy club where you're going to support a great local community. And it's a great place. I love being there. I've been part of that bar for 8 years. Jeff Holt is a crazy son of a bitch. He supports live comedy and it's hard to find in a bar owner. It's a real hard thing to find. So anyone who will support the arts is great.
Yeah, like I said, this podcast wouldn't be possible without. You know what I mean, what you're doing down there at Hambones and Burning Bridges Comedy Club, man. So appreciate that. Before we get out of here, what is your favorite form of potato, Neil?
Baked.
it. Just plain. You just fucking.
I think we should.
Oh, no.
I
You
feel like if
you gotta load that motherfucker up.
load it. Yeah.
Yeah. Load it, bake it. I need crispy bottom skin because I'm gonna eat the whole.
The whole. You got it.
Oh yeah. Not one of. When I was a kid, I ate the.
We
inside.
didn't
So I was
waste
like,
food
yeah,
in
but
my
man,
family.
I ate the whole thing.
You eat the whole thing. If you get the bottom nice and crispy.
You ever try eating the whole thing all at once? Just going, and just shove it all in there, and just see if you don't die. So far, I haven't died.
Batting 1,000.
Yeah, 100%.
Bro, I'm still like in the.
By the way, 1,000 is 100% in baseball. I learned that recently. Very confusing system. Why don't they just say that? Why don't they just do a percentage? They're crazy assholes, is what they are.
Hey,
Very
man.
silly system.
I want to thank both of you gentlemen for coming in on this Sunday. I know it wasn't easy, especially last notice, but appreciate you both. Shout out to Ed, doing a damn thing, staying busy and whatnot, working. Shout out to all the folks. If you're looking for one of the best beer festivals in America and featuring one of the best breweries in America, Burgh'ers. Burgh'ers sitting right here next to us, freshfestbeerfest.com. August 8th, man, it's the freshest block party in America here in Allentown. 5,000 people, 150.
It's going to be helicopters.
Truth, man. 150 venues, 80 breweries, 50 collaborations, 30 black breweries.
Derek Minto lives 3 blocks away. Come
Like,
over to my house.
that motherfucker's gonna
Get
be
fucked up
around
on my
here.
deck. Come down.
Derek is going to be roaming around, man,
I am.
like out here giving out like free hugs. I'm going
I'm going to wear that bear costume from the Wicker Man and just attack people. It's going to be a real dangerous situation. Not going to hurt anybody, but a couple body checks won't kill a kid.
You got to keep the security. Keep security light but consistent. And so August 8th, man, it's gonna be a crazy block party. What do we got? 9 stages, like 30 musical acts. We got Ghost Note, who is confirmed as our headliner. We're able to announce that, so that's kind of dope. If you're looking for tickets, it's freshfestbeerfest.com. And if you're looking for us, we are the Drinking Partners. You can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify at Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. Shout out to Ed, and as he says, Drinking Partners is the crew, Epicast is the family, and we out.
Like so far, I thought we'd be done by at least.
Yeah.
What time is it? Like it's like swag. Something like that. We're way over, I think. 6:47. But I had a great drag.